Hey everybody, today I'm going to tell you the story about how I think it's stitches above my eyebrow, and the reason I'm going to tell you this story is because it's actually a very funny story. So it happened about 12, 11 years ago. I was like 10 years old, and we were in Argentina. My whole family, we come from Argentina, so we were back home visiting the rest of our family, and it was one of my little cousins' baptism. And so on our way to the baptism, it was my dad, my younger brother, my grandfather, and two of my cousins who were in the car. And on our way to the baptism, we noticed there was this peach farm, this enormous peach farm. It had to be about like, I don't know, 20 acres. Like we just kept driving past it. Like it was just like along this entire field. So it seemed like we were there driving by it for like 10 minutes. And the entire time, like you could see that my dad's like, his mouth is watering. He's like looking over these peaches. And he's like looking back at us, smiling. He's like, "Yo, like we look for an opening. We need to get some of these peaches." Like, blah blah blah. And me, being a scaredy cat I am, was like, "Oh, I hope there aren't any holes." But sure enough, bad luck for me. My dad notices that there's this small opening in the barbed wire at this one part, and my dad decides all of a sudden goes, "All right, here's our opening." He pulls over the car and he goes, "Go, go, go!" So me or my cousins, my brother, my dad, myself all run out, and my grandfather stays, and he's like manning the car. And we run out and we go through this hole, and my dad's like hoisting one of my cousins up, and he's pulling the peaches down. He's like tossing them down to his younger brother, who's throwing like them to me, my brother, and we're like throwing as many peaches into her shirt. And me, of course, I'm like terrified. I'm like, oh, some owner is gonna like the owner of the peach farm is gonna send his dogs after us. So I'm the first one to fill up my shirt, and I'm like, I'm getting out of here. And so I start sprinting towards the opening, and all I remember was just seeing the opening and thinking I could just run through it. Like, oh, there's like this hole, and I'm like running through, and all of a sudden I just hit something, and I'm just on the ground, like on the outside of the barbed wire. And I'm like, I have no clue what's happening. And I start getting up and I look at one of my cousins who's right behind me, and just, he had this look of just terror on his face. And I was like, what's up? What's wrong? Like my eye kind of hurt, but it wasn't anything crazy. And my dad saw me, and then when I saw the look on my dad's face, I knew like something had happened. And essentially, like there was just a piece of barbed wire that I couldn't see because of the sunlight. That I'd gotten super lucky, and it like nicked me right here, and it just like cut me open all right there, and I had to get stitches. And it was only like two stitches, but like apparently it seemed a lot worse at first because like I was just bleeding all down my face right there, and so my dad thought I like nicked my eye. So that is the story about how